Hello everyone. Welcome to the new episode of this stream. And this is going to be something more special because today we have some good ecosystem projects and our guest in this stream. And this stream is focused on agent wars, the good, the bad, the ugly. We have heard a lot about agents and we have heard a lot about compute. We have heard a lot about decentralization. But what truly it means, we have Whitney from Ringfence AI. We have Kunal from Hey Elsa, and we have Prashant from Spheron. And my name is Prakash, and I'm going to be hosting this today. And today is actually a good day to do this because in the recent news, I think congrats Kunal for the recent fundraise, congrats Whitney for the new product which is coming up, and also Prashant for I think the ARR has reached 1.7 million. So this is a good day to become, and also ETH is at upside. So
Yes,
this is
that's the
like
important part.
this is
Our banks are pumping. That's the important part.
this
I'll
is
be
the
able
energy we
Oh my God.
need.
Yeah.
I'll be able to
I
afford the milk now. Yeah.
yeah. So again, before we move forward, Dhaval, it's request from you. Send some money on Kunal's way. Okay, because he needs podcasting setup, and after the fundraise and everything on your side, he has to be at some of the best places. Please hear his request. We are requesting you from live stream. Please do that. Thank you,
And we are
Dhaval.
going to reflect a wallet address right now. You got
Yeah.
to send it to that wallet only.
The podcast setup wallet donations.
Kunal is like, no, they
No.
baited me into this. But honestly, like hands on heart, honestly, like that is something which we ask every guest here. Do you really use AI agents? Like, do you do that?
Go ahead, Kunal. You can jump in.
Kunal is so hesitant right now. Yeah.
No, I do. I mean, not to do like very different transaction that I would usually do, but then I'm gradually getting used to them because I see that at least like I don't need to go to like different URLs, try to figure out what to select and everything else. So at least with Elsa, I'm trying to be very sort of be make it a part of my daily DeFi routine of sort.
And what about you, Prashant and Whitney?
Yeah, for me, I
Yep. Go ahead.
use them every day, multiple agents. As a non-technical founder, it's just a massive unlock. Sam Altman put out a paper, I think it was yesterday or maybe it was earlier this morning, about how we're entering this age of the idea guy, right? Because prior to this, the old adage was ideas are easy, execution was hard. And that's not really what the saying means. The saying means you may have an idea, but if you're not technical, you're fucked, right? That's what it should have said. And now, because of vibe coding, ideas are easy and execution is just up to your work ethic because all of the tools exist. So if you fail to execute on these ideas that you can quickly bring to life using different agents or vibe coding platforms, then it's really just a laziness issue more than anything else because all of the tools currently exist. So like for me, my agentic stack on a daily basis, and I'm going to just talk models. Like I'll touch ChatGPT and OpenAI, of course, Claude every day, Lovable on most days. And then there are a number of operational agents that I'll use for different things. And then there's some that we're building, right? Like aside from Agent Chavi, which is being built, we've currently got a swarm of Sentinels in production for Ringfence, as well as some additional agents that will operate on the platform for different purposes. But I know we're going to get into the weeds of what an agent is. But yeah, I think that if you are not touching AI throughout your day, you're just doing yourself a huge disservice, whether it's agents or just using some of the bigger models. It's never been easier to do anything,
True.
right? Everything's at
True.
our fingertips right
True.
now.
I think the same goes with on our side, on my side as well. Honestly, like I have a very big problem. Okay, I'll tell you this on our stream is that whenever I used to sit in exam papers and all of those times, I used to think that I wrote that answer, but when my teacher used to say that, I did not wrote those things properly. So either I used to miss the some part of a line or something like that, and then over the years I realized, okay, this is a problem. This is a problem when your mind works faster than your hand and you just don't write it. So now, just because of AI agent space and LLMs and everything, now just because of that, now I can just put my thoughts there. At least the portion which I miss, that AI can complete that. And I always ask that, okay, so just tell me like if this is something which is good to go. That's one part. The second part, on the AI side, into the Web3 space, like I was always bad in like going into like researching a lot of these DeFi yields and everything, right? So what we have done, okay, so I'm going to share a little bit Skynet here, which we have been working as a framework. But overall, the whole concept was that is to like how can I build my own personalized agent, which using which I can just have my own yield strategies or whatever I want to kind of bring it, or very simple one. Okay, so I just wanted to know that like which, because I tend to keep in a bear market USDC with me, okay, or USDT with me. So I just always wanted to like look for more opportunity to farm more yield on top of those stable assets. um and and people like us, like who just keep on building, I think you guys also agree on this part, like we don't get a lot of time in finding out these opportunities, because we don't have time to go and sit on multiple protocols, look into them, find the yields and all of those do all of this stuff. So for me it was like, let's go and build something which can find itself. And that's where Skynet, which we kind of brought in, and we are working to integrate with a lot of data players and all of those to bring it more realistic feed and everything. So that's where I use AI agents so far. The third place where I'm willing to use is where these AI agents can now start making me a lot of money just by trading some token or swapping it here and there. Or let's say there is a dust which comes out from my yield. So I just want to build this one. When I get a yield, I want that yield to be taken out and then buy some random token in the market, which can just give me 10x on those or 5x on those, right? So those are the things which I'll be looking for. But these are the two areas where I am currently using AI agents.
And do you think, like, because we have been using AI agents on different stream spaces all around, but do you think there is a post viable use case apart from just not keep, because there are things like NA10 which are coming up, and anybody can spin up their own set of agents, and there is a lot, like, what do you think are top bottlenecks when you come to such systems which are scaling at that level? Because we saw, like, yesterday ChatGPT was not working for a lot of people, and that is something, if that kind of failure happens with agents, and now these agents are responsible for multiple, like, for example your yield, and for example somebody's paymaster, and a lot of things. So how do you think, what are the top bottlenecks which are going on in top of these agents, and how are we solving that? Like, okay, these are some set of problems, we are doing this to basically come up with a solution on these. So what do you guys think about it? And it's an open space, so no, I'm not going to give a passing ball to anybody can join in and answer that.
Who wants to go? I can go on this, but I'll love to like hear
Yeah.
Kunal and Whitney thoughts.
Yeah, Kunal, go ahead. I can jump in after.
Oh, I mean, yeah. So uh, I had I had to stay up all night just to counter on Discord because ChatGPT was down. And that was like a moment where I realized how much we rely upon all these models. But let me tell you this as well. I mean, it seems like it is amalgamation of what already exists and what you can build on top of that. My philosophy, or rather the way look at AI in a way, is that everything is a wrapper. So I mean, you can always take that purist approach to it, saying I will build everything from scratch. But then ultimately, I think, at least for someone who's building in crypto, it has to be a way where you take existing rails and build on top of that. And I'm very happy to sort of let you know that we've been talking to OpenAI, and they've been very, very helpful in understanding what we want to build. They've been taking calls, and they want to really understand where this actually goes. So in that context, I think we are always contemplated, and I always get approached by multiple decentralized AI offers, whoever is building that infra and whatever GPU and everything, that whole set of, you understand, like that whole set of thing for you to really build your own stuff. But then I think we are far away from that. I won't shy away from saying that for someone like us who is building on top of what already exists, ultimately we want to solve for UX, uh, at the same time build for crypto AI. For us, what matters is that whatever Legos that exist right now, we use them efficiently. Efficiently is very important because you can quickly run into multiple $1 million of bills if you do not do it right. So efficiently is one of the keyword here, and then how you can optimize for better experience to your users. I think in all this, at least for in crypto's context, hallucination has been a biggest challenge for us in a way where user gives a prompt and then a response is sometime off. So I think keeping everything in that context, we are far away from taking that purist approach and getting decentralized and whatever those buzzwords are. I would rather take an approach where I use existing rails, Legos, and build on top of that.
Witty.
Yeah, to your point, Kunal, I think that we approach this the same, but our view is not that everything is a wrapper, but it's that the foundational models are the operating system. So we're essentially just building the app layer. Potato, potato, right? Like we're saying the same thing, it's just phrasing, but we take a very similar approach. So how we think about these models is that they're going to continue to essentially, be a continuous call center for these bigger companies, and they're going to continue to look at new ways that they can provide infrastructure to people like us who are building these app layers. And when it comes, or these apps on the app layer, when it comes to the decentralized nature of different products that are out there in the market, I think that they are better suited for established companies, just because there are some operational challenges that come with moving from a centralized service to a decentralized service. It's not to say that they are a real bottleneck. I think that they're not at all. I just think that it's much more cost effective and faster in your very early days to focus on working with an OpenAI or working with a Claude, or Perplexity in some cases because of what you need. So how we think about it is the world is moving to a more model agnostic system. Like I think we're eventually going to get to a point where these models switch out just based on whatever you need. So that's the only difference in the operating system analogy, right? Is that you don't switch operating systems. Like my iPhone doesn't run on anything other than iOS ever. But all of the systems that we are building, we have to build them to be nimble. So what we're thinking is that as things progress, as decentralized networks become stronger, more resilient, cheaper, and just as efficient as the centralized players, and on top of that, things are becoming more model agnostic, we'll have the ability to freely switch without tripping anything with our user experience, which right now is obviously, as a new product, the number one thing is above all else, the user experience has to be fantastic, because that's really what we're competing with everyone else on. And I'm sure you guys can all attest that like AI is magical. Like it's just magic. Like you type this random string of words into a box and hit enter, and then it just like gives you stuff, right? And we have to maintain that above all else. Like everything in your user experience must be magical. Everything else comes second to that. So that's really what we look at recreating and how we're thinking about models right now, and where we think the plug into decentralized networks is going to come.
Amazing. So I think I would love to kind of add some point here, but would also love some questions to be thrown on your way to kind of like love to hear your thoughts on those things. I believe you guys have really brought up a very brought up very interesting point, which I always admire to speak or like go and talk about that. So whenever I think there is always a thin line of understanding what is a decentralized system and when you should use, and um, and then there is a thin line between when you should use Web2 system. Okay. On a tech side, if you look at, most of us are using Web2 system. Even this stream is on Web2 system. It is not even using Web3 systems, even though Web3 system exists. But there is sometimes when we have to just go like always, like it's a user experience plays a very vital role. If you don't make money, whatever you do doesn't mix like brings any value out of it. And that's where, Kunal, I agree on your 100% on your point, is that this is how the world is going to look like. But the point where I go little anti to the approach is, if we keep on doing this, what will happen is we will just building the Web2 product over Web3 rail. Now there are two. So you cannot build and or you cannot innovate if you don't take complete contrarian approach. Okay, what does that basically mean? Is like we could not see, like if we would not ever have seen BTC if BTC would not have just gone and did it what it has to do, like unbank the banks, right? If Ethereum, if you look at Ethereum, if it doesn't challenge the status quo of existing ecosystem, it does take time. All the decentralized system and infra will take time, and I have a full faith and belief that all of these decentralized system which is getting built, it will getting used down the line either by like some of us. But as we speak now, for application layers, how we look at it Spheron in a very simple way, okay? Because we sell GPUs, we don't care. Like user experience remains the same on GPU. Either you run that same model on AWS or you run the same model on us, it will work the same way. It is not going to be like in running in a different way. How we succeed here is that we save you money. Right? We save you 70%, 80% on cost, egress, or whatever you combine it together. We just help you to make money. Now, where are we decentralized? Very in a very simple and straightforward way. That we allow community to come in and sell their GPUs to us, and we just resell back to somebody else like who might be in need of it. Can be anyone else. Very simple. There is no decentralized. If you ask me like where is decentralization, like it's a permissionless system. Anyone can bring in their GPU. Anyone can buy it. We don't control that, right? So that's the beautiful part of it. Now coming back on that. Now this is my take. Okay, I have a follow-on question to you guys, to both of you. Since you have brought this point up, how, and this question we have already asked to previous speakers to ours, and because they also brought in the same philosophy and concept, and it's going to be more philosophical question. Okay, not philosophy. I think it's more understanding about Web3. If we go on the other way route, right? And you are free to like take the answer for like you can answer it from tech level, or you can also answer it completely from non-tech level. It's your choice. But the question which I want to understand here from you guys is what, as per you, a Web3 company should look like, or a Web3 startup or a Web3 community should look like. Is it just using a wrapping, like what you have just mentioned, Kunal, on that? We wrap Web2 product and we come here, we sell it to the Web3 user by bringing the token in. Is it something called Web3? That's one question. And this is both of you. You can pick this up, or you like, and if you have a different view, and let's stay on this part, okay? And this is what I just want to understand, and this is what we try to understand. Like, what do you guys will call a Web3 community and Web3 startup? Is it just wrapping a Web2 product and selling it in a Web3 way, or is there something else? And how you guys are Web3? That also you have to just put in.
You want to go first, Kunal?
Yeah, that is
Up to you.
I would want you to go first, but then that is an interesting question to ask when I just read the news of Privy getting acquired by Stripe. Uh, I tweeted out as well that it seems like the precedence has been set where Web2 giants will buy uh, crypto companies who have found product market fit. So I think for me, a Web3 company uh, is something where uh, they use the crypto rails to maximize financial, uh, what do you say, a level playing field. Uh, if you really put it that way, that is the only difference I see as of now. A Web2 company can't really do a token, get community involved. All those aspects are very philosophical. And if you take from a CryptoPunk's view, it is more to do with, oh, you challenge the status quo. I mean, that is very different approach altogether. Uh, Based on whatever I read from last batch of like whatever 2017, 18, and then 2021, and now we are here, it seemed that the view was always that you challenge the status quo, create contrarian, the way you mentioned that you create contrarian uh, uh, like innovation, and then it becomes a de facto, or it becomes like a mainstream solution. Stable coins, right? It locks sort of hedges on something, because countries that are hit with inflation can use them in some shape or form. Now that is what I could call a Web3, truly Web3 company, where it challenges status quo, but at the same time it becomes very useful to those people who have been let down by the system. uh, my definition is
I'll
that
I'll
yeah.
just, sorry to cut you off, but there's one very interesting point which you brought, and I want to dig deeper into that. When you said like we want to solve that problem, but don't you think that centralization on the bank and centralization on the stables brings the same problem even today. The money which the world which Web3 people have imagined was borderless, right? That's what I have heard. When the reason I joined Web3 honestly is because of this, or else I would not ever have joined it. I was very good in Web2 world, right? The reason I joined that is because the borderless world. Now, what you have just mentioned, it's a very interesting. If you want to answer that, that's fine or not. Um, but it just contradicts that point. Okay, if on the centralized level, if you look at the way stable coins work, is there is a one entity which prints it, depending on the yield, collateral, and everything, all of those stuff. And who owns those collaterals, right? That becomes a major part. And it's a very tricky systems to kind of look into. But you are absolutely right on this part. Is it brings mainstream adoption? This is what we need. But it again brings back the same question which I have asked earlier. Is then how are we going to ensure that we remain Web3?
Yeah, life is all about predictions.
Right.
I think just to finish off
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
point, like hypocrisy runs deep in every one of us. So I think I do get your point. See, I am also of the opinion that ultimately, if you see that I worked with something called Memento before joining Elsa, and Memento was building a very specific solution for bigger institutional clients to have their private blockchain. Now if you look at from their perspective, they think that, oh, these people may not never come on blockchain if you don't build it their way. But we, at the same time, they're okay to accept at least certain areas of a decentralized or crypto world, just that they don't want all of it, they just want parts of it. And for them that compromise is okay, because at least you're moving a needle in right direction, if not the whole ship. So that has definitely shaped my thinking, that has definitely shaped my approach, is that on certain things you might want to compromise, that is fine, but then ultimately if the end result is where certain parts of it are getting accepted, and then you can steer them in a direction where it becomes like a full-fledged acceptance, why not? Yeah, Whitney, I would love to hear your thoughts.
Okay, so uh, how can I delicately say this? I'm just building a business, right? Like I'm not, I don't give a shit if you call it Web 2 or Web 3, call it profitable with users is all I care about. So like Web 3, Web 2, those are just evolutions of the same thing. Like Web 1, and then there was Web 2, and now there's Web 3. This just means that we now have more tools, more tech, and a community with different understandings to now tap into to serve, right? That's ultimately the goal of my business, is to serve millions and millions of people. The tech that they use hopefully provides them a great experience, prevents them from churning, and makes their life better. That's ultimately the goal. Now, from like, you got to remember, my like where I made my nut in crypto was through Bitcoin mining, and like I am at my heart a believer that the ethos of crypto is the principles of freedom and self sovereignty. So every product that we ship will enhance the user's freedom and self sovereignty. So that's how we weave in our first principles of crypto cypherpunk ishness into the products that we deliver. But our hope is that we're not only reaching a Web3 crowd, right? Like how we view our token is as the product to build the bridge to the Web3 audience, to hopefully increase distribution and do some marketing for us. And then obviously we want those people to do well with that. So we have kind of a different strategy for the token as a product. But then when you come to the Ring Fence app, when we ship it, it's not going to be marketed like a Web3 product, right? Like even though there's a wallet included, it's not a wallet, right? We believe a wallet is just table stakes. Like everything that a consumer touches probably should have a wallet, right? But we're looking at like where behind the scenes can Web3 make the experience better? Where can crypto applications, can decentralized tech, where can these things come in? So um, I, I feel you where you're coming from, Prashant. Like I think that your mindset, it's what captivated me and got me into crypto in the first place. Um, but for me, it's just always been about freedom and complete control over my life. right? It's like one of the most powerful things that an entrepreneur has to learn early is that, like, succeed or fail, you do well, you do poorly, it is 100% your fault. Like, you're going to get all the praise when things go well, but you're going to get all the blame when things go poorly. So the most important thing is that you're just able to own your stuff, right? And that's how we look at the products that we're releasing. So I hope that makes sense. I know it's a little bit different than the answer that maybe you're looking for, but that's how we think about Web 2, Web 3, crypto, all of that
So
stuff.
honestly, I was not looking for any like specific kind of answer, but
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
I'm just looking. So the reason I asked this question is to like let our viewers and people like kind of understand what they should do and what they should not when they are in early stage. And there is no opinionated answer which I'll be always looking and contradict on those points. So everyone has their own philosophy and the way they work and they want to pursue that. We highly respect that as well.
Can I answer that question real quick?
Yes, please.
Just real quick. I want to answer that question
Yeah.
because you said something really important that I think everybody should latch onto. So what you're asking is, like, how should someone act when they first get into the space, right? Um, all I can say is the same thing that somebody told me. It's going to be different now because Litecoin isn't as popular. But take $30, buy $10 of Ethereum, and now I'm going to say $10 of Solana because Litecoin is no longer a thing, and transfer it to cold storage. That's step one. Until you do that, don't do anything else, right? Figure out how to take your money and make it fully yours by moving it into cold storage. Now, after you've mastered moving things off of an exchange or a hot wallet into cold storage, now you're ready to get on and learn the degenerate ways of crypto Twitter, but like baby steps.
Amazing. Amazing.
Oh,
I
wow.
think
I mean,
this
I mean,
was illuminated.
that was the same. That was the same advice I received. That was the same advice I received from someone called Pratik, who is at Eigenlayer. Shout out to him. And this was the first thing he told me when I got into crypto. That whatever money that you make, just put like 30% of it divide into Bitcoin, Ethereum. He never advised Solana. But yeah, these two things, I even tweeted about it like 15 days back, that this was the first advice I got into crypto. And he was the one who gifted me my first ledger, and he said this is what it feels to own your own money. And that was I mean, holding your ledger and then you see that, oh, this much amount of money that I transferred here, that itself is like very different feeling. uh,
Did he give you a closed box or an open box? Because if
yeah,
it's
so
an
he
open
had like
box, I am
it was
saying
an open box. I need to check if it is still
And
there.
is it sipped from my neighborhood made in egg?
Pratik be like, yo, here's a ledger
I
you
need
should
to
use.
check. Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so
Uh,
this is so I can so relate with it. I mean, that is the same advice I got as well. That if you want to understand the concept of crypto, understand the concept of money, this is how you should understand it. That this is where I see things are moving.
yeah. So, but I'll take a I'll I did not got any such advices honestly, but let me tell you why. Like I'll you guys I spoke around the financial angle. I can also go into, but I'll take the tech part of it, and it is gonna blow a lot of people's mind here if they just give a thought around the tech once. I have built software. I'm a solution guy, so I look at the world in a very different way than as many of you or many. Like if you're not from solution background, then your thought process, my thought process has a like very very different approach. So how I look at is like how fast I can do the stuff, okay, and how optimize those problems can be solved in a very different ways. Okay, that's what a solution guy does. When I first saw the crypto, the one thing which really fascinated me was the authentication layer of a crypto. Okay. And you won't believe this is a very small statement which I'm making here, but a lot of the tech guys, the programmable guys, all of those guys, if they go and build the tech authentication layer in a Web2 world, it will be very different than building the same into the Web2. Like in the Web3 world, it's way easier. You just integrate MetaMask. It used to be MetaMask that time when I just came in. It was not like very few wallets really succeeded. So MetaMask the one. Like you just click, connect, and you're logged into the system, right? It was so insanely crazy good for me. And I was like, bro, what the fuck? this is this is like I literally had to write a lot of this middleware, authentication layer, and all of those things early in my journey of software writing to like allow people to authenticate. And then I also have to suffer from this like SQL injection and tons of other problems in 2015 and 16 and 17, which we used to suffer a lot. And then there was an entire company which was got built around authentication layer. Like people have like billions of dollars of authentication companies out there in the space, which includes Auth0 and tons of other companies, right? Firebase and all of those people. Just imagine with Web3, you can just log your user in just by sending a message. It's that easy. And it just required you to write close to around how much, 10 to 15 lines of code max, if you like adding some fancy stuff. If not, then 3 to 4 to 5 lines of code, and you are just in, right? And this is magical. And this is not financial term, but I'm more speaking on the more of a um like on the tech part. Okay. And this is what fascinates me a lot. Coming back to a very interesting question, Whitney, which you have just, and I'll put into that. Okay. I was going to Ring Face, and I love what you guys do. Okay. And would love to like, I should ask this question or not, but I'm just throwing it out. Is would love to understand, because the way you guys are building this stuff, it's quite good. Like if you look at the data layer as such, honestly, right? So data layer has always been flawed in Web2. The people who created a lot of data are the billionaires, and the people who submitted data are like they never even got $1 out of it. While in Web3, this concept can be reversed. Like we can inverse this concept where data owners become a billionaire, but basically that somebody who's selling data can also participate in the ownership of like data sharing and everything. And I just wanted to understand your POV on this part, because as we move into the AI space, and we are maxi of decentralized systems and AIs and everything, and we need a lot of data coming into the picture, because without that, nothing will work. How do you guys envision that, and how you guys are supporting into the like Fence side?
It's a great question, and it's been seen evolve since starting. And for the first part of our journey at Ring Fence, we really were focused on figuring out how people were creating new data using generative AI, and if they would be interested in moving that on chain or storing that on chain. That was part of our first experiment with Escher. And then, what we have really just continued to focus on this entire time is how is the data that we're collecting really able to be utilized in a way that is beneficial to the data owner, right? At this stage, I do not believe it's through it's through sales. Like I just personally don't believe that the real value from someone's data at this stage of the game is from selling their data to uh, OpenAI or any of these other companies or anyone who would buy it. You're going to be getting really a de minimis amount of money. And we beat this horse for a long time. So I'm not coming at this blindly, right? Like we spent a year really digging into all of the people that are aggregating data and selling data, focused on bringing IP on chain. They're great concepts, and I think some of these businesses will do phenomenally well in Web3. But I think if you were to take this same approach in Web2, these businesses wouldn't get funded because the economics for the business aren't there, right? And how we think about this instead is that data has to be put to use in another way. Now, where we are choosing to focus our efforts is on how can data be used to benefit the user through providing additional security, spotting anomalous activities, preventing any kind of breaches or hacks or scams, things of that nature. Where we have really been focused for the last 6 months or so is on this, is utilizing data for personal security and letting the cost savings from not being hacked be where your money is made, right? The idea of a penny saved is a penny earned for now, right? We do believe that eventually people will be able to sell their data. We do believe that eventually there's going to be a way for you to monetize your daily activity. We hold that true. It's just not right now. So our goal for the here and now is to continue providing tools for people to collect and secure their own data, while using that data to benefit them in some way. In our case, it's going to be through cybersecurity and loss prevention. And then as the market continues to evolve and grow and new opportunities expand, each of our users will have all of that data. So if and when they are able to sell it, they'll already have it. It'll just be the flick of a button, a flip of a switch, and they'll be able to make the money off of all of the data that they've spent the past X amount of months or years collecting.
I think that's a like honestly, this is a beautiful step. If you ask me, the reason because for me, what is the best use of my data to understand where it is getting used or it is getting exposed or not. Very simple. Down the line, if you have like, and I think that's how most of us in Web3 should also think is that, and this is where I'm gonna come to Kunal to you, is like where we all just look to make $1 billion entity without understanding what user like really need. And I don't know like what will happen when everyone will get to know that what is the real value of the specific entities when they start seeing the money flowing into the system, and when they start seeing that none of the things which they have built is going to be used by anyone, or will be loved. So coming on that POV, and Whitney, kudos to those. I think I'll be more than happy to kind of like go ahead and see like how you guys will convert that data layer and flip that switch into the Web3 angle, and it will be amazing to see. It's like because then you have massive amount of data pouring in, and that same data can also be used by Kunal and team on their side to ensure that it just can be plugged quite seamlessly into their systems. So Kunal, on your side, I think you have brought up again. This is my final question. I just hijacked Rakesh again, so sorry for that. But because it's an interesting thing. I always like go into like understanding more things on and clearing my own doubts. So on the Hales side, right? So when I was talking to your co-founder, I think Dhaval and team, uh, you guys, I really love the entire concept. So tell me one thing, very simple thing. Okay, how do like how you guys are planning now from here onward after your fundraise? Like what you guys really looking for when it comes to. And by the way, let me ask you a very straightforward question. Why are you in Web3? Why are you not in Web2?
Yeah. So there are like, again, great question. There are multiple directions to it. Uh, to answer the first part of it, that what exactly want to do hereafter, two things. One is, uh, the bottom line is every user that comes into crypto, they don't give shit about whatever decentralized philosophy that we have. They don't really care about that. Ultimately, what they want to do is they want to make money. And what are the ways to make money? And that is what I think most of the products are trying to solve, that this is the way to make money. Under the facade of everything that goes on top of it, bottom line is, if this product can help me make money, I'm good for it. So we are trying to get in a direction where, okay, fine, that you got all these things in place. Now we are targeting two type of demographies, or other two type of user profiles. One is someone who is just getting started with crypto. They want to understand what all things are here, what all I can do. Want to understand the jargons that everyone throws around, but they do not have any safe place to really understand those jargons. And that becomes first part of it, where it's, you get comfortable with crypto. Once you decide I want to, put at least some money, we allow them to do on ramping. They start getting into crypto. They can ask all sorts of questions the way they would ask to ChatGPT, and then we help them take a right decision. For an example, I have like $100, then where should I invest these $100 on blockchain? As simple as that, and we help them take that decision very thoroughly. That is one. And second is the degens, or like the mid degens, who are like, uh, have some capital, but now they don't want to take headache of going to different DeFi protocols, understanding what those protocols do, and then think, oh, how I can make use of my money to make more money. We come into picture, we help them to take right decisions on yield part and everything else. And the third part becomes then, uh, how can I automate this whole process, how I can make money while I sleep. And that is the part we are most interested in. uh, Of course, everyone has those in bits and pieces, but we really want to crack it from a product perspective, because we think that there is a huge scope, and you can actually target all sorts of demographies that exist, who want to make money. Now this becomes like a B2C part of it. On the B2B side of things, that is where we want revenue generation to happen, and that is what is happening for us now, where we go to those bigger ecosystem players who have already cracked the distribution part, who already have some DeFi or crypto primitives going. And our philosophy is that eventually anyone who is building in crypto, they will use AI in some shape or form. So can you become there, take that overhead of AI development on you and help them get up to the speed with AI? It could be as simple as building a natural language interface for, let's say, Monad, or Ink, or all these ecosystem where they definitely want to have this, but because of whatever deficiency or overhead of devs, they cannot do it. We come in place and help them do it. And in all this, we've been able to, again, the decentralization part, that is the core of it, and that is why we are in Web3. uh, you do certain
I
things for, yeah, you do certain things for business, you do certain things for your own satisfaction. Hence Elsa has been, since day one, contributing to most of the open source protocol that exists. I've given an example, XMTP, which is a, again, the whole philosophy is that I want to, like, very contrarian. Shane is like, I want to go against whatever decentralized messaging services that exists in the world. They are like censorship. They have everything that is anti-human, and I want to go after them. And we are one of the contributors to XMTP, where we are actually bringing all the crypto rails in the messaging service, and then all this is getting integrated on Coinbase wallet. And we became like one of the partners with Coinbase wallet for that specific aspect of decentralized messaging. So to bring this all together, there are two angles, B2C and B2B. And on both fronts, we definitely want to become something which is as easy to use, and at the same time has all the tech prowess that you can, that will help you to go against whatever biggies that exists in the space. And why we are in Web3? Because specifically we think this is the place where you can make the playing field leveled. You can help more people this way. You can create bigger impact on all terms for those who are involved as stakeholders, plus the community on all angles. Uh, and that is only possible in crypto. I think it is very simplistic answer, cliched as well, but then that is what it is.
no, I think the but thank you so much, man. I think you have gone a lot into Helsa. How like when when you have you have talked too much deep. This was not expected to go that much deep, but honestly, the reason I asked that is to kind of just, like, if you look at the reason I love, like, what you guys are building, honestly, is because such kind of product is highly needed. Um, and the only reason is that a lot of people in the world, they don't want to really know about crypto. They just want to ensure that they have an exposure, which we call as an asset exposure. The simplest the way that exposure can be, the simpler the way, the better opportunity for a lot of us, right? Getting those investment coming in, and that's how we look at, right? And the more money getting poured into the ecosystem, the more money come to the Web3. And thank you so much for you guys to build such kind of products, which basically can bring a lot of capital into injected into the system. And that's the reason you guys are in Web3, right? You want to bring a lot of capital here. So that was something which I would go and say about Hailsa. But amazing, guys. Like, I love. I'll pause again here because Prakash has a lot of, like, yeah. You can.
I'm not writing questions from the next time. Like I'm skipping. completely
Yeah.
on questions
See,
which I write
now
and
you
send
guys
to the
now
speaker.
Prakarsh do not have questions, so like Prashant just taken over. It's going the way it is going.
no, it's not like that. It's
But
not
this
like
is like pretty
I just
good.
always want to make it more like impromptu. The reason because then you guys have a better way of like putting your things forward and your thought process forward. If I put everything on questions, then you will come prepared and then you will just answer those things, which I personally
Kunal and Brittany were like, was that on the doc?
let us check,
That
let us
thing.
check that. Yeah. Now Prakash can take it over and he can ask the question.
Okay. It's I think it's enough that because we hit the 45-minute mark and we didn't feel it. So it's spin time, guys. We got a show like and we got to open tg.spheron.network and we got to show people how to spin this and become part of the road to TG campaign, which is going on right now. So any one of you can just open the link right now. It's respectively and share the screen and let's see
Who wins
like
how much? Let's see the luck. who has the biggest luck?
If you have some good luck with you, I think I'll highly recommend pump.fun. I'm just kidding again.
Who is going first? And there is something called skip, guys. You can just skip it, and then you can just directly land into dashboard.
Oh, I can just click on the link that you shared, right?
Yeah.
tg.speed. Okay.
Yes. You can just click sign up. Just skip. Then there is a don't spin that wheel. Okay, we have to just show that spin wheel. Yeah,
Just
don't click on that.
yeah.
Then people get excited and they click. But it's gonna be it's gonna be interesting one. I can till the time you guys are signing up.
You're also spinning.
Don't spin with the different emails, okay? Who's sharing the screen? Anyone's ready?
No, nobody has shared the screen till yet. Guys, it's time to share your screen. You know, there was a near stream and it got so many views what was happening on the stream. But what was in the speakers
I
PC.
really remember it, so I'm keeping away.
Yeah.
Guys,
Yeah. That's like I have two public rules, right? No public math and no sharing screen on live streams. Those are if it's edited video, I can share screen, but if it's a live stream, I can't. Who knows?
Yeah,
Who knows what
that's
can be
that's
found?
true.
Kunal, I think we are betting on you.
You also want to follow
Yeah,
Whitney.
I've become a guinea pig now, but yeah.
No.
Okay, should I spin?
Yeah, click it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, bro. Yeah.
I really thought like you were at 20K and I was gonna jump off this seat.
Wow. I just for all this question I deserve 20K here, but
But you do deserve a lot of hike.
no man, it's been good.
He's like bro,
First person to say no to an hike. But it was amazing having you guys over here, and you guys handled questions pretty well. Like I honestly love that we try to keep it real, and we try to understand like why is there existence of like the whole product, why things are around it. So it was amazing having you, like Whitney, Kunal, and Prashant. Like, thank you so much for being here. And this is going to be like the last 1 minute, which you'll get to tell about your product, something which is coming up, people should follow on. And so, yeah, Whitney, Kunal, and Prashant, respectively, you guys can go ahead.
I have a hard stop. I have to just drop off. You guys can Prakash can share this.
Sure.
But thank you guys. Thank you so much for coming over. And I really love
Thanks, Prashant.
your product, and I'm gonna be like using it anyways. But kudos, keep building.
Thank you, Prashant.
Thanks, Prashant. You as well. Go ahead,
Oh,
Kunal.
I dwelled a lot during that question, so I would I'll make it.
Let me- I'm
Yeah, you
happy
go
to
first.
go ahead.
Yeah,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
go first, and
ahead.
then I can just point out what all is going on.
Sure.
Sure. I mean, my biggest shill right now is just to say if you're not following Agent Chavi on Twitter, you should do that. That's Agent spelled normally and then XAVI. He's named Agent XAVI because originally he was an X avatar that was pulling data and providing it to people. But after about 5 shadow bans, we decided to stop trying to have him be an automated Twitter account and we moved him to his own website. So you can go to agentchavi.ai to access all of Chavi's features, tons of on-chain data, tons of information about the Virtuals ecosystem. There's a swap bot on there. You can track wallets. There's a ton you can do. It's agentxavi.ai. And then, of course, Ringfence AI. We have our app release upcoming. We're going to start sharing more details about that. New website, some other new and exciting things that we'll be sharing. And I would say if you are not following Ringfence, you'd be doing that now. June and the beginning of July, a big month, the big period of time for the company.
Amazing.
On our end,
Kunal, over to
yeah,
you.
the funding announcement just went live. I mean, it was like one of the highly anticipated thing on our end. So we just tick marked it. Now the real thing begins. Of course, there is no token yet. We still like trying to make the product as useful and as solid as possible. So we just made our point system v2 live. It's still in beta. We'll announce it in a while. But yeah, along with that, we are improving on the way people interact with the AI. There is like bunch of new feature coming in, like chat history and every limit orders, sniping. So all these exciting things are in place, and ultimately, we definitely want to provide the best chatting experience that exists in crypto. So that is where our like mind is right now, and there would be a lot more things we'll be doing on the B2B side, where we'll be helping bigger ecosystems to really get Elsa in their wallets, in their DeFi protocols, and everything else. Follow us on Twitter like Elsa AI, pretty straightforward. And at the same time, really excited for where this space goes, because I think DeFi and AI is the future, and as we always say, that is what we are building at Elsa.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being here, guys. And I think I'll add in for Sferon. Sferon is trying to build world's biggest data center and anything and everything but what you need for GPU workloads. And we have been revenue positive, and we are trying to get as many users as we can who are deploying different types of workloads, from enterprises to community grade. And we have Supernoders, Skynet, and everything which is around Sferon as well. We are right now we have a Road to DG campaign live, and you would see that there are different missions on it where you can go ahead and utilize the console, where you can go ahead and utilize the Clippy, where you can create text to videos. And then we have Supernoders as well, where you can spin nodes. So we have a suite of products which you can easily use, and it's very tangible to do it. So we'd love that you'll do and become part of Road to DG campaign. And we would be coming back with some amazing guests in our next streams. But this stream was really special, bit intense, but always lovely. So thank you so much, Vit and Kunal, for being here. And it was a pleasure having you guys.
It was a pleasure, Prakash. Thanks for hosting.